you do not fight only for your media, your dream. You fight for the dream of the others too.
So from outside, the only thing you do is advocating for people, documenting their basically suffering, and try to hope for justice and accountability and fight for them.
We need to capitalize on children because they will be the pioneers of any change in our country.
When you educate a girl, you are educating a whole nation. I grew up in a family of 12, and my father married off. All the 6 girls were married off at an age of 12, and I was to be the next. But by God's grace, I escaped this. And so I got an opportunity to go to school. Go through life and write in every country, think. So the Maasai girls undergo some retrogressive cultural practices like FGM. The next obvious stage is marriage. And therefore I felt that I really needed a school where, as a teacher, I'll be able to empower these girls to stand up for themselves, to preserve their dignity. I was able to get teacher skills. Particularly, I gained a lot on interactive learning and leadership, how to be a better teacher leader. How about somebody who has ever thought, I want to be a teacher? Yes. A girl changing a girl. This girl can be able in turn to change the family, change the entire community, and change the entire nation.
Mohammad, let me start with you. You believe 2,000 plus have been killed in this brutal crackdown.
This more than 2,000 get killed. We have names and location and date of their kill. I was shocked on how the country was being run and how people just kind of settled with this fact that, or the reality, like we have to live with this government and we have to accept just being repressed all over the time. So I joined the human rights movement, and it's been quite a journey. In some conflicts, like Lebanon, at the end of the civil war, they decided there's no documentation. It's very difficult to know what happened. So the parliament passed an amnesty for everybody, and then they ended up with no accountability mechanisms. What we try to do in Syria is basically to establish the opposite. And IREX was the core of that work. IREX was the foundation we used to build up our capacity. Definitely there's the peace versus justice, but our job is not to allow that to happen on the expense of the human rights and rule of law and the justice for the victims. So using this documentation is helping balancing the demands of justice and accountability and peace at the same time, so we don't end up with a peace with no justice.
Our goal by creating and running Young Tunisian Coders Academy is not only to have computer science incorporated into the Tunisian educational system early on, but also we want to be a considerable asset into creating the Tunisian leaders of tomorrow. IREX has been a huge contributor to the founding of Young Tunisian Coders Academy. First, by giving me the opportunity to go on an exchange program, thanks to the Thomas Jefferson Scholarship Program, and thus to be part of the alumni network. And second, via continuous support to the alumni through different workshops and activities. I started Young Tunisian Coders Academy because I believe in the power of technology and that it's the future. I also believe that we need to capitalize on children because they will be the pioneers of any change in our country.
In a pre-war Kosovo, I was among hundreds of journalists expelled from job just because I was Albanian. I was desperate. Then one day my father told me, "Dita, you have lived in a non-democratic society without freedom of speech. Do you know what is next?" And then I discovered that finally I am free. Free to decide in my own. I found and created ways to work what I do the best. Journalists all over the world are dying for the truth to be told, and truth is hard to find among people who lost their belief in truth. We are the ones that can enter in every household with the stories of truth, and truth often is not welcomed. When I first started in a field of journalism, I have never thought that my job will be my way of life. I have never thought that I will live day and night with another family other than mine. Okay. Okay. I did fight, and the fight is not over yet. So of course that I still fight every day for professional journalism.